Hey everybody, Alex Terrace here, healthhacksreview.com. So this is about the PEMF industry, this video, and it's about a concept called the Schumann frequency that is something that is used in this industry and other products as well in the natural health industry to sell those products. It's a concept which is falsely promoted, if that's that term, to basically confuse people and convince them that it is something they need to seek, okay? That it has somehow correlated to health. And so this article right here, and by the way, this is basically not true, and I'll explain to you what Schumann resonance actually is. But anytime you see that kind of purported by PEMF equipment out there and using that as some sort of like feature and or benefit, just realize that they're essentially lying to you or trying to deceive you. So right then and there, you kind of have to really think, you know, how much should I trust as far as the rest of what their claims are? And always you'll want to actually ask them to back up their claims, of course, right? Especially if they're talking about the Schumann frequency. So in one of my other videos, I talk about, and this is a good article right here that I'm on, by the way, that you're looking at from Skeptoid. Now, I'm not like a big skeptic on a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of things on here I disagree with the website. But this happens to be a good article, except near the end when they go into human energy field and things like that, and I disagree with their points there. But talking about the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz, is one natural radio band in our atmosphere, but holds no mystical powers. I would agree with that. So let's just see what that is first. See, most people, they say, oh, that sounds interesting, and I heard it was good for you, and blah, 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 and then nobody actually goes back and they look at really what is it, and is it proven or not proven, or what's up with this. So let's dig into a little bit further. I would highly recommend this article. Here's the link up here, and I'll put it below also on my YouTube. So do read this entire article all the way through. I would just only touch on a couple points here. So in a nutshell, the Schumann resonances are the name given to the resonant frequency of the Earth's atmosphere between the surface and the densest part of the ionosphere. So they predicted that the Earth's atmosphere would resonate certain electromagnetic frequencies. So here's a great analogy. The closed space inside a glass bottle, has a resonant frequency which becomes audible when you blow across it, right? Everybody's familiar with that, okay? So this particular bottle has a resonant frequency of about 196 hertz. That's the frequency of sound waves that most efficiently bounce back and forth between the sides of the bottle. Inside the sides of the bottle because of its dimensions. At the speed of sound, of course, because we're dealing with sound. So that's how much the waves are bouncing back and forth. And that sound is created when it propagates via actually air molecules. So actually you get no sound in a vacuum, but you do not in a vacuum. Anyways, so electromagnetic radiation, which is now what we're talking about with the Schumann thing, which is in our upper atmosphere, ionosphere. So it's a similar principle with the electromagnetic radiation, except the waves, instead of sound waves, are traveling at the speed of light, and they do not require a medium like air molecules. So sound requires that, but not electromagnetic. So let's see here. So the speed of light's a lot faster, but these waves have to travel between the ground and the ionosphere. Okay, so that's like that's the distance, okay? Ground and ionosphere, traveling back and forth, speed of light. And this atmospheric electromagnetic resonant frequency is 7.83 hertz, okay? So, they actually didn't, interesting, they didn't bring this up in the article, but well, they kind of did, but basically it's the average number of lightning strikes that are going on. There's lightning that's traveling in between that level all around the planet. They take a rough calculation or closest calculation of that but it's because that level or that area, chamber around the planet that goes around in a circle, because that's getting charged up with radio frequency from lightning, that is then creating waves that is resonating back and forth that vast distance that equates to 7.83 hertz. Okay? So the atmosphere, as they say right here, the atmosphere has its own radio equivalent of somebody blowing across the top of the bottle. Lightning. Lightning is constantly flashing around the world many times a second. Each bolt is a radio source. I don't know if you know that. And radio waves, by the way, are part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay? So this means our atmosphere is continuously resonating with a radio frequency of 7.83 hertz, along with progressively weaker harmonics. Okay, so these are the Schumann resonances. He says it has nothing to do with Earth or life or anything like that. It's true. It's never really been proven to have any correlation or in the PEMF research. But I want to point out something really important here, is that we're talking about radio frequency, right? Which, if I want to show you a signal of what that looks like, it is this, analog, right here. Okay? And where'd my other picture go? No, lost my picture. Anyways, all right. Analog, okay? And I talked about this in another video. And remember that he also says in this article, Schumann Harmonics, right? Schumann Harmonics, that term harmonics, I talked about in another video. Wikipedia. Why are these things so important to know? What is this analog wave? And what about the harmonics? Because even if it was ever proven in PEMF research, let's just say, that the Schumann harmonics had some, like these special frequencies, somehow helped the human body. Even if that was ever proven, the main issue is that almost all the devices out there are pulsed magnetic field devices, not pulsed electromagnetic devices. And the Schumann resonances are created in the electromagnetic spectrum. It's an electromagnetic phenomenon, okay? And again, most of the devices out there that claim to be PEMF are pulsed magnetic devices. Now, so now you understand that. So that then the other piece here where they confuse you is, what did he say here? He said 7.83 frequency, radio frequency. Look up what frequency is. Okay, it would look like something like this, all right? So that's the other issue, is that with these pulsed magnetic PEMF devices that are out there that are being, and they're confusing people and saying they're electromagnetic when they're not, they're basically turning on and off a magnetic coil, on, off, at a certain rate. A certain rate it turns on and off per second. But they were calling that frequency. That is not frequency. It's not and it's not an electromagnetic frequency. So if you could pulse something and make it, you know, yeah. So the point is there. It blows my mind. So basically, then these devices that are they have pulse rates, are claiming to have frequency when they don't, and they're claiming to have electromagnetic frequency and they don't, and then they're claiming on top of that to have Schumann harmonics, but 14.3, 20.8, right? It happens every 6.5. You get these peaks. Okay, see, these are peaks on the harmonic scale with different, but there's many other signals in between. These are just the peaks, okay, of harmonics. Again, learn what a harmonic is. So these digital pulsed magnetic frequency devices are basically giving you these, okay, just these peaks, which aren't, and they're not even giving you the frequencies. They're just giving you the pulse rates. They're just giving you the peaks, but they're not giving you the harmonics. And at the same time, we know that the health of a cell, or how a cell, just a cell or an atom works, there's harmonics there. There's tons of frequencies. So again, even if we ever said that, oh, you know, like 27.3 or 33.9 or 7.83 is some magic healing frequency, even if that were true, which is not, because we never actually discovered that in any research. Even if it were true, it would be a drop in the bucket. You would be like, okay, let's put in that one frequency into this area of the body that's got 1,000,000. I mean, come on. It doesn't matter how magical it is. Cells have to self-regulate and modulate and keep themselves in harmonics with other harmonic frequencies and other cells and other atoms. There's a lot going on right there. So it's never been and it never will be about one healing frequency. Now, the other thing I call BS on is that when you look up even in an atom, when you measure it on a frequency level, goes out to 5 to 8, 5 to 8, anyways, 5 to 8, something like that, decimal places. Okay, so this is what? This is 20.8. It's just one decimal place. 7.83, that's 2. And folks, there's a huge difference when you're going out that many decimal places. Orders of it's totally different. So, and it's all about getting that energy signature right. I mean, that's just atoms can go out to that many decimal places. So again, in the human body, you never find something like, oh, over there, that part of the cell is whatever, so, one decimal place or 2 decimal place. You don't find that anywhere. So it's like, that is yet another reason that this is baloney, that people are purporting, like, oh yeah, don't worry, it's got the peak Schumann harmonic, it's got that magic thing right there. It's like, well, okay, but the body doesn't even work that way. It's if you were going to put in a frequency, let's say theoretically that was harmonious, okay, for a second, or in a harmonious, it would be again out many decimal places, and that would take a lot to actually figure that out, and that's the whole point, is you can't really crack that code realistically. You need supercomputer. It's just never been done. To be like, oh yes, this is the magical one. This would heal it if we put in this one frequency. That's why original PEMF devices, which were studied really quite a lot, used analog harmonics of frequencies in sinus waves. Okay, so it's actually giving your body a huge range, exactly how the body works itself. And within that resonant field of full spectrum harmonics, the body can draw and raise up its amplitude and energy. But that's only with true PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic frequency. So there's so many reasons, and read the rest of the article, honestly, why this whole Schumann thing is complete baloney. And all you have to do is, if you encounter a company and they're saying, hey, we put the Schumanns in there and blah, 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 just say, hey, that's pretty cool. Do you have any literature or any kind of study about the human body, pretty much anything, that actually shows that these peaks here and how you're creating them with a digital device, magnetic pulse? Do you have anything that's showing basically the Schumann frequencies are good for the body? And it doesn't exist, period. So it exists in the world of these devices simply for their own purposes of being able to outsell another company, where they can say, well, that company's device does not have the Schumann harmonics in it. So the other thing that people confuse a lot is the Schumann harmonics with the electromagnetic field strength of the Earth core itself. And we have seen that the field strength is diminishing, especially in the last 15 years. And there's some interesting things that, yes, there may be some correlation with human health, and it might be affecting certain things. It's interesting. As you have your feet planted on the ground, like at that ground level, that field strength, there could be something to that. But what you'll see once again is people confused out there thinking that the Schumann resonance is the same thing as the electromagnetic field strength of the planet itself. That's really common to confuse those two. They're two separate things completely. So It's just another point I would bring up. And then the whole point of, by the way, some of these PEMF companies saying, well, because, or PEMF, saying, well, because the electromagnetic field is diminishing, which is true. You know, that's why you need to charge up your body with these magnetic, you know, coils. Well, magnetic pulses don't charge up the body, period. What only charges up the body is a scalar field, and then in that, an electromagnetic waveform in the electromagnetic field, because that's exactly how the cells work, how the atoms work, all that kind of stuff. That can charge up energy, frequencies, things like that, but not what is out there. So it's super confusing, very misleading. And if you have any other questions about this, find me at healthhacksreview.com. And you can live chat with me there, call me on the phone, and I'll be happy to give you better guidance than what else is out there. Thanks for watching.